about the forest garden, which is a different type of gardening than most people grew up with. And so forest gardens are they're plants of all sizes, so it could be very tall trees, it could be shorter trees, bushes, shrubs, it could be vines and other sort of ground covers or other types of plants. And they're all combined into a perennial system. So it's not like you go out and plant your vegetables every year and then every fall they die. Let's say, they're coming back every year. And so it's meant to be a more sustainable system of growing. And there are a lot of different plants that could be grown like this, including a lot of fruit and nuts, and there's even some herbs and some vegetables that will last all year long in this climate. And with a careful plan of what gets planted next to what other plants, you can develop a really pretty low maintenance system of growing food. And so I wanted to just talk to you about the possibility of your interest in exploring this and seeing if it's something that you want to explore along the grounds of this property. I know you have a big parking lot, but there's a lot of green spaces sort of tucked around the edges of the building and sort of around the parking lot too that could be planted into productive fruits or nuts or things like that, and all the residents of the building could benefit from the food that's produced. So that's the basic story. There's some more information in this flyer. Like if you look inside, like what types of plants could grow here, just in terms of fruit trees, that's the ones probably people know the best, but like persimmons, Asian pears are a really good one for here. They're the round pears that you sometimes see in the grocery stores. Figs are great. Pawpaws are a local kind of indigenous fruit tree that grows really well here. Lots of berry bushes like currants and raspberries and blackberries and other plants can grow here. As well as nut trees. So you could have pecans, you could have almonds, you could have English walnuts. So there's a lot of great fruit and nuts that could be grown here that a lot of people I think would really enjoy. So it's just introducing people to the concept of growing your own instead of going to the grocery store. And that's what Ecolocity is trying to promote here in DC, so that we're growing more and more of our own food here. So I can answer, I know that was kind of quick, I can answer any questions that you have about forest gardens or anything else that I said.
I have a couple of questions. Cost. What's the cost?
Well, it depends on the size of the area that you're doing. There's an organization called Casey Trees that's partnered with us in the past to do forest gardens, okay. And they will actually pay for the cost of the fruit and nut trees and any of the trees that we want. And if we do it as part of a community tree planting event in the spring or the fall, they'll actually bring in the volunteers to plant the trees.
Oh wow, that's great.
So that's a huge cost, but that might only be just in terms of plants. That's probably only about half the cost, or maybe a third of the cost. So there's a lot of other plants that go in to support those other trees.
Of course, the whole Washington, D.C. as a whole is known for their rat population. What type of pest control do you think you can have?
Well, I think it is actually, it's maintenance. And so it's a matter of really, like if fruit drops, it's got to be picked up.
Right.
I mean, that's just the bottom line. And I think like for a property like this, I think it's really beneficial to get residents involved.
No, the fact it's their garden.
Exactly.
Their garden.
Exactly.
And then, they're going to bear the fruit. They're going to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I mean, there is some like routine maintenance. I'd say like spring and fall, and there's a little bit of watering that has to be done, like especially when plants are getting established. So like the first year or two, they need more care than they will on an ongoing basis. But then there's also just certain things like making sure, like when the fruit is ripe, it gets picked and people eat it.
Do your company offer any type of training programs for the residents so they would know how to maintenance and when to harvest, et cetera, et cetera?
We're doing that with other groups, and so we are helping people learn about the various plants in the forest gardens, and we are actively putting together maintenance plans and groups of people who are involved with the garden and maintaining it.
Thank you. I have just one more question. Excuse me for dogging, but do you have a business card? I'm sorry.
I do have my
contact information is on the back.
Oh, it is on the back
Okay.
list? Okay, great. Thank you.